Welcome back to another Monday morning mentoring. In today's video, I want to share with you some insight around elimination. This is a process that is natural. We all know this. In our human bodies, we need to eliminate things that are not working for us, or we need to let go of, release. This is a natural occurrence that we have from the day we're born until the day we die, that there will be a process of elimination of what the body cannot use for energy, either is toxic, is no longer serving. We could get into all the details of digestion and the process of that. But the point of today's Monday morning mentoring is to talk about how, as either a leader or a business owner, someone who is responsible for others and maybe a bigger picture in what's going on, that it requires the ability to release, let go of, and to differentiate between what needs to be released and what needs to be let go of on a regular basis, on an ongoing, consistent, systematic basis. So let's look at just the piece around the physical body first. When I have clients first come to me, it's a topic that at first some people are not comfortable talking about. How many bowel movements do you have a day? And if it's 0, then I know we've got some things backed up. We look at how long that's been going on, because then there's accumulation of that backup. And so this is a piece that you want to become aware of as a leader, especially so I work with business owners. This is a big situation that I see for business owners. When I'm working with a client, I look at their body, I look at the mind piece, and I look at the business piece. They're all interrelated. And in knowing that let's go back to the digestion, because it's much easier when we can look at that and then see how it relates to business. So in terms of the body, let's look at it like a train, and you have a train station. And if you have a train come into the train station and it stays, and then you have another train come in to the train station and it stays, and then you have another train come in and it stays, you can see how it starts getting backed up. So the trains coming in, we need to have the trains moving through there and getting out. A lot of times when folks are stuck business-wise, there are moments in time, and it could be years, it could be decades, where there was a first moment of a stuck train that never moved, and now it's fixed there, and then it rusts and the wheels rust, and there's going to be a lot more energy required to get the wheels going again, to pry it loose, to get some momentum. There won't be momentum, so you can't expect for this major shift and opening up the floodgates if you have something stuck, right? So this is where it's really important to know where you are within this framework of elimination and letting go. Now let's talk about seasons, because we're in the fall. In the Pacific Northwest, we've just had a pretty major shift. Last week it was in the 90s, and we had nothing but dry and heat and fires. So constitutionally in the environment, in nature, it was very dry, hot, heavy, dense. Now, if we look at that in a body, dry, hot, heavy, dense, there's often constipation. Now let's move to a business and look where we have similar characteristics: dry, hot, heat pouring in there, heavy, stuckness energy. So we want to be able to understand this and have kind of a playful attitude. I really like having more of a playful attitude around, especially when I have a business owner come to me and They're literally, it feels like their hair's on fire and they just can't get ahead of this, and it's been going on for months and now years and now even going into a decade where they just can't get ahead of it. So in doing pieces like this, there are steps of letting go, and that's going to take a little bit of time. We can't, so I'm going to go back to the bowels again. A lot of times when someone has constipation for a very, very long time, they're going to do drastic measures to get things moving. We ideally don't ever want to get to that point. But when we do get to a point where we feel like we have to have drastic measures taken, that's when we actually want to start with a lighter touch, because if we can get the right tool to create leverage, it's going to be better than taking a sledgehammer and hammering on something that's really, really, really stuck. So if we could use the right tool, the right tactic, and we could go in there, let's say with the stuck trains, and we could go in and just oil a couple of specific spots, just a couple. We don't want to overdo it, because then we've got slippery and we've got a mess. But if we could just get the right oil on the right nut and bolt, and then we get the right leverage, so whether that's, you get the idea, we're getting some correct leverage, we can get some movement going on. And ideally, we want flow back, not a tsunami, right? So I hope this analogy is coming across, because I'm seeing a little bit of this going on right now, especially in the season and the change, because we haven't created a balance or harmony. And so as a result, we've got this massive shift, and it almost feels like a tsunami. So we've gone nature again, we've gone from the hot, heavy, dense, and all of a sudden the next thing, it's 40 degrees and it's raining, and everyone's like, what happened? All of a sudden it's here. So there wasn't a transition. And so when we're missing the transitions, that is another thing to look for. If you can take that step back and see, oh, we might have missed a couple of those moments of transitions, and that helped create some backlog. So now let's take this back and orient this towards something that you can do this week. I love coaching my clients on a specific habit. These, I call them high performance habits. These are skills, whether they're tactics, whether they're tools, but there's something that if you do repeatedly, you will get a consistent result. And this habit, this action that you can take, helps to build in these transitions so we don't get clogs, we don't get backups, we don't get a heavy, stuck flow. Because remember, we're part of nature, and nature is energy. Nature flows. When you get heavy stuckness, and a lot of times this happens when we're focused on intense power. Power likes to stick. Power likes to hold. Power likes to be solid and strong, and there's a purpose for power. We want that balance. But if it takes such a strong hold, and it holds and it won't let go, what it tries to do is then go in and grow itself. So understanding this concept holistically, we can see where this tool that I'm going to introduce you to is very valuable. And as simple as it is, if it's not done, can create havoc, can create a major backup in the body, in the mental space, backup of ideas, stuck creativity, right? This is the writer's block. And then in the business, where it feels like there's no flow, maybe the currency isn't flowing, we're not getting new revenue in, we've got stuck revenue, things like this. And of course with the body, constipation, right? So very simply, it is building in time in your day. And I think it has to be daily, not just weekly, not just monthly, right? Sometimes we do annual spring cleaning. No, fall is actually one of the best times to do cleaning and clean out and let go, because we're getting ready to go into a season where we can plant seeds. But you can't plant seeds in a garden that is overfilled, right? We're going to have to go in there. We have to harvest, and we're going to be harvesting what we did last year, right? We're going to need to go in and prune, right? I'm giving so many analogies here. I know that I'm actually looking at my beautiful garden that needs to be pruned and will need to be put to bed so that we can plant and prepare the soil for what we will plant in the spring. But if it is so clogged, even the healthiest seeds and soil we put in will not be used. It won't be used in your body. It won't be used in your business. It won't be used in your mind. You could go to the best coaching seminar or the weekend, power weekend, and get all this rah, 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 but you won't be able to use it if you've got this stuck, constipated, heavy energy, right? So just simply creating, I like calling them bookends, right? You bookend your day. In the morning, taking time. I like to do it before 6 a.m. There's this natural rhythm of the day. If you can do it earlier, before 6 a.m., that is a great time for reflection, for contemplation. I do it in a walk. And then eliminating what's no longer needed, and you just let it go. And then bookending it at the end of the day, where you're reflecting what went well, what did not go so well, what are the learning pieces here, what am I grateful for, and what can I let go of, right? So see if that practice is something that would be useful to implement. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you next Monday on our Monday morning mentoring. Have a great week.